Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Going Rounds podcast. I'm here with a guest. His name is Clark, and he's one of my really good friends. We've been friends for a pretty long time. What's up, Clark? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, brother? I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Already having a drink without me. You're supposed to wait and cheers me up, fucker.
I got thirsty. I was waiting for that intro. I got thirsty.
Let's do it, bro. Here we go. Cheers. We got to have our drinks, and Clark is a fellow old-fashioned brother. I guess I got him into it. I didn't even know until I started realizing that he was drinking them all the time. I go to his house and he's giving me old-fashions. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, when the hell did you get into this?
If I could only find the whiskey, that's the only thing. I can't find the same whiskey.
What whiskey?
Buffalo Trace.
Oh, yeah.
We can never find it. You find it.
I know. Find it. That's because every time we order our groceries, Michelle puts it in there and puts down 2 bottles. And if they have it, they bring it. And if they don't, then I'm shit out of luck. But I like Woodford too. Woodford, Bullet's good. You can find those easily. But Buffalo Trace is hella hard to find.
Right now I'm using Wolcott, so
yeah. Like. That's the one you gave me last time, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we did. Can't remember. What is it? Still Reserve or not Still Reserve? What is it? What's that whiskey?
Which one?
The one in the gas can.
Stillhouse.
Stillhouse, exactly.
I forgot about that one. Yeah. That was a big one. What was that, like 3 years ago? We were downing the shit out of, they're like little gas cans.
But we had that game night. We drank that Black Label, and that was, we got pretty fucked up.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so me and Clark, we're over here talking like nobody's listening. me and Clark, hey, we hang out a lot, we're good friends, and he's part of my friend group, and we do stuff together. He hosts poker nights sometimes. We go play golf all the damn time. What else? We used to play softball together.
Softball. The reason why we got started together is UFC fights.
Yep. I was inviting him over. Because we had a mutual friend that brought him over one night, and I made fun of him a bunch, and I guess he enjoyed it because he's a glutton for punishment, I think.
There has been some punishment at your house.
Yeah. We used to have huge UFC parties and stuff. Obviously, I've been watching MMA for a long time, and having UFC watch parties pretty much. It's basically a reason for all of us friends to get together, hang out. Which I miss, by the way. So any of you fuckers watching, it's time to get back to it because we haven't had any in a while. Everyone's too busy. And,
I know.
Well, everyone has kids now, too, like small kids. So that's a thing. I mean, you bring yours with you, but, most people have more than one kid that's, like, little, and it's tough. So
yeah.
I get it.
I know.
So we've kind of chilled on that a little bit. We haven't been having them as much, but I'm sure we'll get back to it. We just gotta. For me, it's a reason to see my friends more times than none, and it's one of those things where if we don't see each other for a while, we know we're gonna see each other once a month at a UFC fight at my house. So that's the way it used to be. Hopefully, one day soon we'll get back to it. Until then, while nobody's coming over, I'll just have watch parties on my podcast. So tune in for that. I'm sure there'll be more. But anyway,
you gotta have me for one of your watch parties. I want to be there with the guys. At least put a name to my face, because they're always seeing me talk on the chat.
Yeah, so the guys from the Rumble, my other podcast, they're always on with me because me just sitting here watching the fights and saying stuff about it's not as interesting as if I have somebody here to talk shit with. So now I know I could probably get Clark in there with me if nobody else, and at least I have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you shit right back. So
yeah, for sure. But I told him last night, I was like, Clark, you guys are gonna get to see and hear from Clark instead of just read his text on the live chat. Which, speaking of live chat, it's open and it's ready. So I'm watching it. If you guys got something to say or want to say what's up to me or Clark or just chime in at any point in time, go for it. I will respond as best I can. And I think Clark has YouTube open right now, so if he sees anything, he can let me know too. I get distracted sometimes. But yeah, man. So I just wanted to, this is a cool thing about having my own podcast. I have friends that have come over for years and years and years to watch the fights, like I said, and the cool thing about having my own podcast is I can have them on my podcast whenever the fuck I want. So whether you like MMA or not, whether you're into watching the fights or not, it's fun. You know, I've had Patrick on a few times. I'm sure I'll have him on again soon. Josh hasn't been on here, that little fucker, but he's too busy doing his own thing. So, and I'm not sure if he wants to come on.
if we could get it, you know, Patrick, Josh, and then me with it.
Oh, dude,
all three of us as your guests, that'd be pretty sick.
that would be funny. But then again, I think we would. Some people might get offended.
It'd be a roast party for Josh,
pretty much. But yeah, so yeah, that's what's going on, and that's why I wanted to have Clark on. He talks to me about fights all the time. He's Mr. Better. He likes to bet. So he's always asking me about fights and stuff, and then telling me about all the bets he wins and rubbing it in my face when, like last time, I'm a dumbass.
5-0. 5-0.
Yeah, 5-0, and I make one parlay and bust it within half an hour. Talk about fail.
Oh,
that's all right though. But yeah, we'll get into all the MMA talk here in a bit. But you know, I'm gonna do my normal thing with the guest, and I'm gonna get to talking a little bit about him and what he's about. So before we get into the MMA talk, like I said, we were trying to figure this out, and what did we figure out? Like, it was a little off camera talk. We were talking about how long we've known each other.
Yeah, 9 years almost.
Yeah, close something to. Like that, right? 8 or 9 years, something. I didn't believe him. He said 10 at first. I was like, nah, it wasn't. It's not 10, but apparently it is. I don't know. It's been a while. That's all I know. We've been through quite a bit of shit too, like a lot of stuff. I mean, I still consider you one of my newest close friends, but yet we've known each other for almost a decade. It's crazy.
I think we passed that stage where we've been at bar fights or house fights together. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, we've been involved in some scuffles, and he lost a bet and had to get choked out. And
I remember that.
I showed the guys that video, by the way.
Of course you did. Funny. Of course you never let that video die.
No, it stays alive in all my phones where I can get to it. But hey, you lost a bet, right? That's what you do. You bet. So if you lose, you got to pay up.
I did.
Yeah, and he definitely paid up. So yeah, it was fun though. And that's just crazy shit we used to do all the time. Not get choked out, but you know what I mean. Have fun, have a good time.
For sure.
But now he's Mr. Daddy. And not just to his girl, but to to an actual baby who's not a baby anymore. How old is he now?
Nah, he's 1 year and 6 months.
Oh God, these fucking kids. It was like the other day he was just a tiny little baby, and now all of a sudden he's a little hellion like you.
Literally. His name's Caliber. For these that don't know, I named him. My wife decided that it couldn't be a junior. So when I was coming up with his name, one of my best friends said Caliber. And from that moment on, it was gold. I was like, Caliber, if I can't have Clark, at least I'll have Caliber.
Hey, I've shouted him. I don't know if you watched that one episode. This was a while back, though. I shouted him and you guys out on it because I was saying somebody's name and it came out as Caliber. But the name was similar. But I was like, not Caliber. I was like, Caliber is my cool little buddy. He's Clark and Lindsay's son.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to find that.
Yeah, I don't even remember what episode it was, honestly. It was way back. It was like one of the first, probably within the first 10.
That's too many hours of video.
I know, dude. I don't remember. It's been a while. This is episode 25. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Yeah, crazy.
Cheers to that.
Definitely.
Quarter of a way there.
Quarter of a way there. Now I got to work on getting more viewers and shit, so it's all right. It's 25 episodes. It seems like a lot, but really, like in the podcast world, that's like minor. So, you know, it's even people with YouTube videos. 25 videos is like, get out of here. You just started.
Yeah, you're still crawling. We'll get there.
Yeah, which is fine. I look how far. Let's see. I started last June, I think, something like that. I don't remember specifically what month, but I mean, I've come from having a weird backdrop to like this. So
I know you definitely come a long way. I like the background. It's fucking sick.
Yeah. And I'll just keep keep making things better as much as I can. So, but back to the talk. So let's see. I'll let you tell real quick. How did we meet? Like, how did we wind up hanging out?
So I had a best friend. His name was John DeVries, and me and him were in a bowling league together. When I first met him, I kid you not, I said, "How does this guy have a good-looking girlfriend?" And this guy wears these baggy pants, no ass, and he has like, what is it, eczema all over his face? I was talking shit about him all the time, and then
Asshole.
come to find out, when we started bowling against each other, we started betting, and then he started drinking, and then we went from drinking to betting to going out to the bars after bowling, and then we got joined up. Said, "Hey, do you play softball?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I play softball." I was like, I mean, I haven't played in a long time, but I played baseball, so I mean, what's the difference? I remember when I came out, you were talking so much shit about me. I couldn't even catch a ball. Oh my gosh, you always put me in the outfield.
Easy.
I know, I was an open target. And then with that, I mean, that's where it all became. We started going to your house, UFC fights. Me and John would always be partners playing beer pong against you and Josh.
Yep.
I mean, we built a brotherhood around each other, and that was really awesome. John passed away. He in 2020, right before COVID, actually right before my wedding.
Yeah.
He was going to be one of the best men, and he's long gone and never forgotten. Not at all. And I know you got a tattoo. I have a tattoo of the Boston Bee with the wings.
I got the Boston Bee inside the Dos Equis. And so anytime anybody sees that Dos Equis symbol, it's for John, because that was his favorite beer. We always had Dos Equis together, chugging Dos Equis here and there. And then while Boston was his favorite baseball, he was a diehard Boston fan. So,
he had the sand. He had the sand from the field.
Yep. He was diehard, and so I had to get the tattoo and put the Boston Bee in it. I don't even have a Brave symbol tattooed on me, so that fool better know I love him.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
But just in case you didn't notice or anybody was paying attention, that's John in the middle there. We had to bring up the pic to show everyone our boy. I know he would have loved to have been on this. I bet he would have been on it and had fun talking shit on here with me. So we love John, man, and never forget him. His anniversary of his death just passed not too long ago. So it's been 3 years. It's crazy. It's one of those things, one of those ones that affected me, and in a lot of ways I never thought that it would, because I've had family members pass and stuff, but you don't get to see your older family members all the time. I mean, a lot of people don't, and I'm not that close with all my extended family, so having to deal with someone that I would hang out with and see like week in, week out, if not a couple weeks at a time, we would pass and then we'd see each other or something like we played softball every Friday. We would see each other, so that affected me a lot, and then man, I mean, shortly after, I have a coworker pass away too, and and that's a dude. I mean, think about the amount of time you spend with your coworkers on a daily and weekly basis. That's a lot of time. So when you're working side by side with somebody, I mean, and that guy, he basically got me my job that I'm still at, and we worked together for so long, and yeah, man, it's just sad. It sucks. And John was younger than me. Was he the same age as? No, he's a little bit older than you, right?
He was 2 years older than me.
2 years older than you, yeah. But dude, I mean, come on, just way too young. My coworker Derek he was only 45. That's way too young to be passing away.
For sure.
You're like barely halfway through your life. It sucks. People say 40 is old, but
I know. And for anyone that knew John too, he actually got diagnosed with type 1 diabetic, but he didn't let that stop him. He was still drinking like you had nobody's business, to be honest with you, whether it was a shot or chugging a bottle before the softball games. But then the best thing is like, even though we wouldn't talk all the time, we knew if we talked or we had something going on, it was like not even a second skip by, and it was endless. I remember sitting on the couch just watching UFC fights, and it was it was like that happy place. You just feel at peace. You're just like everybody's here, everyone's healthy, we're doing good, and it was enjoying life. So may he rest in peace.
I mean, he was one of those guys too. Like, he loved my dogs. He would always talk about Benny. He would always text me just to ask me, anything he would ask me, and then he'd be like, "How's Benny doing?" It's so funny. Speaking of dogs, there you go. But
I know I got my one
right on cue. Yeah. So John was just a great dude, and we all loved him so much, and still do, and we miss the hell out of him. So we just, of course, we had to talk. That's how we met. I mean, me and Clark might not know each other if it wasn't for John. So of course,
that's true.
Everybody was affected quite a bit, but we all knew that Clark was so close with John and stuff. So we all felt super close to him. But you guys knew each other before us, so you guys had that bond, and it's crazy. But I feel like it brought us closer too.
It did, absolutely.
I remember the day. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, being at the bar. I remember you called me. He said, "Hey," he said, "Let's go get away and let's just hang out and have a beer." And we ended up being there for almost 5 hours.
Dude, we were there forever. And I mean, with the same drink in hand, pretty much. I think we maybe got a second one, but
yeah,
we were sitting out. I mean, we were sitting outside, pretty much crying the whole time. It was kind of crazy. I'm sure people thought we were nuts, but that kind of shit happens, and yeah, it sucks, but we'll just keep remembering John, and we love him, and yeah, just wanted to throw that up there and have John be with us for a minute.
He lives in our memories for sure.
Always. And that's why Clark's wearing that Boston hat too, because that's the perfect thing. You got the shirt, the hat, the tattoo.
Right? I know. Oh, you got to show him the belt. I mean, the belt's right there. You got it next to you.
No, I mean, I've shown this belt before, and I think but this was a long time ago when I first started. But yeah, see, we got a John DeVries right there, and then I think you see it in memory of JD. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if you see this belt in the background, I mean it's our beer pong belt, but that's because we all love to play beer pong with each other. We were so competitive all the time. Me and Josh were always partners and always winning. And then when you guys would win, you just rub it in our faces because you finally won. So we'd win 6, 7, 8 games in a row, and then they would finally win one.
That bad news bear win.
Yeah. So that's why what this.
Then you put a hole in your wall.
Yeah, dude. Me and John went for, I would say, almost an hour back and forth on redemption. Every time I would make a fucking ball, he would make one and get redemption, and then and then it would just keep going, one cup to one cup for an hour. And I was getting so frustrated, and I didn't punch the wall. I kept banging on the side of the wall. So I'm like, son of a bitch. And after the 5th or 6th time I did that, I put my fist through the wall.
Yeah, you loosened up the drywall.
Yeah, it was a hole this big in the drywall. It was nuts. And I remember John was on the floor dying laughing because I put a hole in the wall. I was
that was crazy.
Whatever, fuck. And I don't even remember who wound up winning that game, but that game went on forever.
I think we won. That's why the last punch, hit your fist through a wall.
Damn, man. Yeah, that was nuts. Those were the days.
For sure.
But yeah, whenever we get together, we still have fun. We all play cornhole, and we still play beer pong here and there. And, I mean, we just did, what was it? Oh, no, that wasn't, you weren't there. The last time I played was New Year's Eve? No, Christmas Eve. Were you there Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was there. Yeah, I was thinking of Dylan, because Dylan was with us that night too. But yeah, so it's been a while. We gotta get back to all that shit.
Oh no, for sure.
Anyway, but yeah, it's been a long time, and yeah, I've seen this dude grow up because he was just a little fucking asshole. 20-something-year-old when I met him, and now he's all grown up with a kid and a wife and a house and a fucking decent job. I'm like, damn.
I know it's been intense.
Yeah.
What a ride.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you do kind of some, you got a different kind of job than most people, and it's a little interesting because you've changed it up a bit, but at the same time you were doing. So just tell people a little bit about what you do.
So I'm with the sheriff's department here in Arizona. I'm a correction officer. I did 2 years with the state, and then I transferred over to the county, and I've been there for almost 3.5 years. Now I am a recruiter for the entire department. So if anyone applies, this is the face you're going to see, and I'm going to call you and get you to sign up. Remember the stash. But as a correction officer, I like it a lot. It brings its own variables into it. There could be nothing going on, or two to three fights I have to deal with a day. So I mean, you just gotta stick down and get dirty, and fuck it, go home, drink a beer, come back the next day.
And these guys have to go through a lot of fucking training, like all kinds of shit from, getting what you had to get, like you had to get tear
defensive
gassed and
tactics.
all kinds of
Defensive
shit.
tactics. I've been CS gas, OC sprayed. That I'm immune to. Don't even try that on me. I'll win every time. But I've been tased, CS gas. What else? I shot the pepper ball guns. Those are no joke. It's like a real hard rock, with pepper spray in it. There's been rubber ball guns, dart guns. I mean, these things,
Damn.
no joke.
Yeah.
No joke. So you just got to be prepared for anything.
Like I said, he was just a 20-something-year-old fucking asshole that just showed up in my life, and then all of a sudden he's this fucking dude with this crazy job and a kid and shit. And before we're like, it wasn't like, what girl is it this week? But it's like all of a sudden some different chick, weird random chick is here. I'm like, who the fuck is this girl? She came with Clark. I'm like, oh, okay. It's either you or Josh.
I know Josh had more. Josh had way more than I ever did. Okay, look, I had space.
You did. That's what I mean. Every once in a while, some random chick would show up at my house. I'm like, Josh isn't here tonight. Well, whose girl is this? But then you found the right one, and now you're married.
Yeah,
you have a kid
exactly.
and a great family, so that's awesome. We love Lindsay. She's dope. She's a great
awesome
person, great friend, and seems like a great wife to you because she puts up with your dumb ass. So,
hey, she's an awesome woman. I tell you what, I think she's tougher than any of these MMA fighters out of here. All the stuff that she's been through in her life. She's tough as nails, and I think I break it up, because of my humor, but. Yeah. Don't let it fool you. I think she'd punch me any day of the week if she had to.
Oh, you just had to have been here right before we started, and you would have known that she puts her foot down and says, "Shut the fuck up."
Right?
No, she's great though. I love Lindsay, and I'm glad that she's a part of your life and a part of our life. And having a great wife makes everything. I know I don't know what I would do without my wife. So I wouldn't have gotten through half the shit. I'd probably be a dumbass and be dead or in jail by now if I didn't have my wife. That's why a lot of people ask me, like, 20 years old with 2 kids, and I'm like, what are you doing? Good thing though, because otherwise, yeah.
Michelle's been through the ringer too. She's tough too, and I think, I mean, you definitely got a winner early because you didn't have to go through anything like that. You guys really right away. You're all together fighting through thick and thin. I mean, literally thick and thin your entire life. And now you guys are just reaping the benefits. Now you guys get to go out and party all the time. And I'm like, I got a babysitter.
Yeah. You got to worry about the babysitter. I don't.
Right.
Now I just got to make sure my kids are good and not doing anything stupid. Like little kids, you got to worry about getting that babysitter, but bigger kids, my kids are adults now. As you know, anybody that's watched this show, I had one of them on here. So, but anyway, so that's just a little bit about Clark because, I like for people to get to know my guests and stuff a little bit. And you got some interesting things about you, besides that Farva stash. I had to bring that up.
It's all I get. It's all I get. If I had a beard, I'd grow a beard. But
yeah, no, that's the thing. Like this fool had the biggest, most luscious beard ever, just like well maintained and kept. I'm like, dude, I think you take care of your fucking beard more than anything else in your life right now.
It was soft. It was like a pillow.
Like everything. He's got like beard oils and you were doing fucking Instagram ads for some beard shaper thing. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I know John saved me from that because I was gonna get raped and money if I would have signed with that guy.
That's funny.
John was a lawyer, in case you guys didn't know. So
Oh
anytime we had
yeah.
a lawyer question, that I went to John every time. I was like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
need a lawyer for this."
What do I do? What do I do?
Exactly.
You know, he had his specialty, but he had enough knowledge in other things to help us out with stuff too. So, uh, but yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Is like there's so much shit. Like as far I, no wonder it's been almost 10 years because we, you know, with all the shit that we've been through and done, including crazy fights in the front yard of my house, big brawls. It was nuts.
Yeah, I still have the pictures of all the scars I had on my head, back of my head.
Yeah, because he's completely bald and falling on the ground. And nothing happened to him. It's just falling on the ground with people and graveling around. And then I had decorative rock
I
in my
was
front
I was
yard.
I was choking that guy out. I
Yeah,
remember that
that
because
yeah, yeah,
he pushed John's girl at the time, and I choked that guy
right.
out. And then someone kept punching me in the face, but I didn't let go.
Well, I was punching him in the face while you were choking him, so it's probably his head hitting the back, hitting you in the face. Oh man,
Good times.
yeah. Um, Yeah, so I know. I mean, like I was explaining earlier, you're into MMA with me. You know, always coming and watching the fight, so you know a little bit, obviously. And then I know you keep up with shit because he's definitely one of my biggest supporters. He's always liking all my shit and you know talking to me about it whenever we get around each other and stuff. So,
Mhm.
what? How did you get into MMA? Like, were you into it before you started coming watching at my house, or?
So I was into wrestling. I was a state champion wrestler in high school back in 2009 with one of the local high schools here in Arizona. And then I used to work out with a U.S. Marshal. And when I was working out with him, they'd be like, "Hey, come to Chewy's over here where we live." And they're like, "Let's go watch UFC." So I got joined in with them. I started watching UFC, and I was like, "All right." I was actually in Forrest Griffin's. He had a gym here in Arizona, and then he ended up just being gone. He literally one day everyone went to the gym and it was cleaned out,
Oh, damn.
gone. Yeah, I
Huh.
know. So that kind of sucked. But I was trying, do a little MMA jiu-jitsu at the time. I got the training from the sheriff's department and defensive tactics. How we got to be able to protect ourselves at all times. But I really love, watching the fights. I know that it's strategic, and you for me, if I get in a fight, I go all out regardless because I don't have to win by points or anything. I'm just like whatever happens, happens. But I know in UFC, depending on who you're fighting, you definitely have to have a strategic plan because who knows what could happen. You can get caught and your game plan changes instantly.
Yeah, no doubt. Quick side note. What's up to my pops? Pops is in the chat.
What's
I
up,
just
Pops?
I just saw that right now. I'm like, hey, who's that? It's funny. Yeah. So you were obviously you were watching before you started coming to my house then.
Mhm.
Which I didn't know you were a state champ in wrestling. I knew you wrestled, but damn, you're a bragger. You didn't never brag to me about that.
It's one of the things that, if we talk about it, I'll tell you. But yeah, I have a state champion ring. Uh,
Damn.
I placed twice in regionals, and when I got to state, I mean, there's no other feeling. I mean, those matches are like so crucial, and I won by points. Usually, like in wrestling, you're trying to pin the guy, and
Yeah.
literally it came down to the last minute and a half, and it was just intense. Everyone's standing in the crowds, cheering you on, and you can't see shit, and you got this guy focused, right in your line of sight, and you're like, man, just defend, 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 take strategic moves, try to get him down and let it
Man, that's
happen.
crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had no idea. Shit. I guess I should ask more questions. I'm an asshole.
It's all good.
Didn't you know somebody back in the day or train with someone that was in the UFC or still in the UFC, right? What's his face?
Oh, Jakar.
Yeah,
Jakar.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just
hmm
remembered that. Yeah. What did you do with him? Like how did you know him?
So he was at the same gym at Forrest Griffin's gym
Oh, okay.
that here in Arizona. That's how I met him. And so once that separated, that's where he started. I think he went to Phoenix, and that's where he got started doing his serious training. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just remembered that right now when you were talking about the gym. I'm like, I knew you knew somebody because He asked me one day, he's like, "Is this guy? Yeah, have you heard of this guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard of him. Why?" He's like, "Oh, I know that guy. I used to train with him or whatever." I was like, "Oh shit!" And
I know
then
he's a big Lions fan too, because he's got the Michigan on his heart.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it made. I was like, "Well, that makes sense." I was like, either this fool likes him because of that, or they just have coincidence that they both like the Lions.
Right? Exactly. I know.
So. Yeah, so and then and then obviously you started watching with me. So as long as you've known me, UFC parties and always watching the
8 years
fights.
worth.
Yeah. That's a lot of fights. So you've been
Yeah, for
through and
sure.
watched a lot of the crazy big fights with me. That's pretty
Yeah, for
nuts.
sure.
Um
I know.
and then
And
while
I'd
you
be
got
always
in.
betting in the background.
Yeah, yeah, and you for as long as I remember you've been betting on it, right? I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
If not betting with somebody in the room, then betting
Yeah.
online.
Before sports books, it was like, all right, Ronda Rousey's gonna get knocked out.
Yep.
Let's go. Who's got it?
And I'm never taking bad. I had bad experiences with bets at my house. People get too crazy and talk too much shit, and I'm like, you know what? This ain't even about the money no more. This is about you getting the fucking shit slapped out of you because I'm tired of hearing you. So there was too
I
many of
know.
those instances, so I had to just give up the betting at my house. Everybody's, drinks are flowing and shit's getting crazy. I'm like, all right, I gotta calm
Yeah.
down.
Oh
So
yeah.
I can't bet. I take it too seriously. It's too much, too much, too much to go off of. So
One
can't
of
do
the
that.
big things too, you were always pouring like huge flask of just shots. Literally, it
Yeah.
was like, all right, here's a round of shots for 30 people. All right, who wants another one? Oh, I got a little left. Who wants one?
That's true. We would be taking like 2-3 shots in a row. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
those were
sure.
the days. We don't do that. Now we just sit here like fucking gentlemen and drink these goddamn old fashions, but
Hey,
whatever. Hey, you still
hey,
get
and
fucked
play
up, right?
golf. And play golf.
And play
Exactly. I
golf,
know.
exactly. I'm super surprised that you don't fucking bring a shaker full of old fashions with you to golf.
Well, you know what? I want to play golf like well. I mean, I'm paying for lessons, but I mean, my shaker's here ready to go. So
I always bring a drink. I'm always drinking some Jack and Coke because it's just easy. And yeah, I'm
your
like,
jacket
especially,
saved us because it's been cold.
yeah, especially when I'm playing like shit. I'm like, yeah, I need a drink. So like about hole 2 or 3, that tells you how good I am at golf. I'm like, I need a drink. Fuck this.
No, you've done really good. You're actually really improving. So
Yeah, I think the irons have helped. And I've been trying to just focus a little more. I don't have the time to go out and fucking practice all the time because I'm always doing shit with podcasting. So, but it is what it is. I still like to play. So do you got let's see, do you have a favorite fighter at the moment? Or who has been your favorite fighter overall?
oh man, so George St. Pierre, Rashad Evans, those were two of the OGs that I really liked a lot. Brock Lesnar when he fought, that was awesome. I mean, honestly, because he was an NCAA
Yeah, wrestling.
champions,
Yeah.
so I followed him a lot. Cain Velasquez, he's always been good.
Oh, yeah.
Recently though, with all the new fighters, I mean, I was a big Conor McGregor fan. I was a big both Silvas. But I mean, I'm really just looking for a good fight now, honestly.
Yeah.
There's so many different divisions, and now that we got the females getting involved too, like Pena is it Juliana Pena?
Yep.
I mean, I like her a lot. She's a beast.
Yeah.
She can handle a lot. She went toe to toe with Amanda Nunez twice. So, win one,
And
lose
she's looking
one.
for that third one.
Yeah, I follow her on Facebook, and she's looking for that third
Oh yeah,
fight.
she's
She's
been
ready
talking
for
shit.
it. I know. I can't wait. If that fight happens, I'm definitely going to be at your house because I can't watch your reaction on a fight party.
Yeah. Hey, Pops. Hey, I'm glad you're here too, Pops. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. All the support. He said he's proud
I
of his
know.
golf buddies. Yeah, my dad
Hey.
comes and golfs with us all the time.
I know. We played in a scramble, and Pops actually got us out of a lot of trouble because
A lot of trouble.
Yeah, we would go for it like we're pros, and Pops would have the best straight drive, and we'd be like, "Oh, we got to play that one."
Yeah. Yeah. We always have old trusty straight down the middle. He's always talking about how it's not that far, but you know what? It doesn't matter because that shit goes
Yeah.
down the middle and it's pretty consistent. Like we can almost
Oh, for
always bet
sure.
on one ball being down the middle in a scramble. So he's a good person to have on your team when you're in a tournament. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at too. Like you get out of having favorites and you just more are looking for the good fights and the more you get to know about MMA and all the fighting and all together, you start to realize who's got the talent and who's hard to beat and everything like that. And then you just kind of start following that instead of like having, oh,
Mhm.
that's my favorite fighter. Like Nate Diaz has always been a favorite of mine. So that's why, and Khabib was always a favorite of mine. And then when they both were going up against Connor, because I just have that thing against Connor. So it was always
I
fun
just
to
like it for
watch.
the trash talking. I mean, the trash talking was glorious.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. And he brought a lot to the sport. Like I always give him his props for, he is a talented fighter. He's kind of fallen off
Mhm.
a bit, but he had his reign, and if it wasn't for that, especially with Ronda leaving and stuff, he kept the sport alive. John Jones and all his problems, but the shit part is
Mhm.
is he brought all those problems too. Like he's got all the same kind of problems that John Jones was having. So
Yeah.
I hate to see them go down like that. I'd rather be annoyed by him talking shit and being a douche, like and still fighting, than to see them go through all that shit. I don't really like John Jones that much either, but I know he's definitely one of the greatest ever. Just by
Yeah.
his record and how much he defended a belt and everything else like that. So and now he's coming back. So I'm pretty excited
I
about
know.
that because he's teased being a heavyweight for a long ass time. So for him to be coming back against somebody like Cyril Gahn, holy shit, it's gonna be nuts.
I think that the thing is too is with him having such a break from it was 2 years, wasn't it, that he was
Almost
suspended?
3, almost. No, he
Yeah.
wasn't suspended. He's just been gone.
Oh, it's just been gone. Okay.
Yeah, he's just
So
been
I
gone.
know, I know. Even with your taking a break, when you take a break and you're just working out, you're not trying to like be anything special. That's where really your muscle starts getting in. You start really building a lot more mechanics and honing in on what you want to do. So it's going to be really exciting to see his first fight back. I mean, he's going up against a good person, a decent. I don't think he's the best, but I mean, it's a pretty decent fight for John Jones coming back.
Yeah. Well, and Cyril Gahn didn't do as well as people thought he would against Francis Ngannou, but Ngannou had brought out some new tools that nobody
Mhm.
thought he had. He started with that against Stipe with a little bit of that wrestling defense that he had, and it kind of stifled Stipe because he was used to just taking him down and doing what he wanted because Ngannou didn't have shit for wrestling. And then he
Right.
came back and he had that defense going, so then he turned his defense into some offense, and he wrestled the fuck out of Cyril Gahn, and people were shocked. And that's the thing, like John Jones is good everywhere. Unfortunately, I have to say that, but he is. He's good everywhere. He can wrestle. He can grapple. He's got jujitsu. He's got fucking power in his hands, and he's got a gas tank on him. So you know,
Mhm.
there's a lot to go up against, and that's why he's still technically undefeated. I mean, he's got that one defeat, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's what it is.
And there's always a rule in wrestling. If you wrestle a tall guy, you have a disadvantage already. But a tall guy, and he knows how to wrestle, and he knows how to move and do shit. Yeah, you're gonna get your shit kicked kind of once or twice
Yeah, and
before
he's
you
just
figure out a game
athletic
plan.
and fast, like fuck. So I'm just
Hmm.
wondering if the extra weight is gonna make a difference and slow him down a little bit, or if he's incorporated, his training and his cardio into bulking up. And
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 5 rounds. I mean, I think right now John Jones could probably withstand 5 rounds full engaging if it goes to that. We'll see.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited for that fight. That's gonna be a good one. But as far as I don't even know. We got off on that tangent about John Jones. um,
I know, right?
you have any favorite fights that stick out in your head that maybe you've watched? in the near past? I mean, I know a lot of times we're distracted by other shit, but
Man, I mean, this weekend we had that good fight against was it Glover and Hill? That was a good fight.
yeah,
I mean, anytime it goes 5 rounds and uh, Glover just never quit. He
right.
literally never quit. Like that. When I watch a fight like that, I'm just like, man, throw in the towel. And just keep going. And then Hill gets rocked, and then you're just like, oh no, like please, like don't screw up my bet. Please don't screw. Oh, that's what I thought. I was like, I had that entire fear the entire time. But watching fights like that makes a huge difference. I know, like when Ronda Rousey used to go, I used to hate watching her fights because they last 1 or 2 rounds, and then she started getting into some serious fights, and then they went to distance. They finally went to the third or second round, and that's where it ended up. But
Yeah,
I mean, Amanda Nunes is really good at fighting. I like watching her fights no matter what. As skilled as a fighter she was, her stand-up game is awesome, but then when she gets down to the ground, you could tell she's comfortable.
oh, yeah.
The Brazilians are real comfortable, and I just like watching the little technical things because sometimes a wrestler, they get in the move and they're like, oh, I need to do this, and how am I going to defend that? So it's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see when she comes back. I mean, she has a fight booked now, so I don't remember when the hell it is.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's
I
coming
keep
up.
forgetting to look at it. It's one of the M months. I think it's March. It's not March because March is when John Jones is coming back. So I think it's maybe it is. Is it March 4th when he's on the same card? Maybe that's what makes that card crazy.
Let me see.
But yeah. I think it is. It's either March or May, something like that. Either way, she's coming back, and that should be good. It's about time. She's been gone for a little while.
I know. So hopefully, well, I mean, it's going to be a good fight for her. I think it will give Pena a little bit of time to prepare. We'll see how Nunes goes, but I mean, Nunes has been a beast. She's held 2 belts for a while, and then this is just a walk in the park for her. So you can't really neglect or discredit what she's capable of.
For sure. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh shit! I just had something in my head I was gonna bring up. Oh well, whatever. Brain fart, I guess. That's why I just keep sipping on my drink, and I'll be all right.
Hey, it's a good time.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, that's a little bit about Clark, because like I said, we've known each other for a long ass time, and sometimes you get to learn new stuff when you talk to somebody in this fashion. Like I said, I didn't know he was a champ in wrestling. That's crazy. But yeah, there was something else. I swear there was something else we said we were going to talk about, and I can't remember.
I mean, I always gamble, so I mean that's another thing.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that was the thing. That actually leads us right into what I was thinking. The watch party. So if anybody watched last Saturday during the watch party podcast I did with the Rumble, Clark was in the main person in the chat. He was there in the last one as well, and he's telling us about his bets and stuff. And dude, I did absolutely horrible. I mean, if you watched, you saw I made a bet. I put in for a parlay right before the third to the last fight started. And I did a parlay for those last 3 fights and lost it within 20 minutes of the first fight starting. My parlay was busted.
Yeah, and Magny, you bet on Magny and
Magny,
to beat Burns. Yeah,
that was a dumbass bet. But see, I was going for the big odds, just to make it interesting. I bet $20. I could have won like 400 pretty much, and yeah, I got busted right away. So I spent $20 on stupider shit, so I guess it doesn't matter.
and you lost some golf balls.
Dude, fuck. I know. I started, adding everything up. It's like I paid $80 for the fight. Those golf balls cost me like $35. I fucking threw away $20 like it was just piss going into the toilet. I'm like, damn, I spent a lot of money.
140. Drinking the whiskey,
fuck, man. That's all right. At least I already got your golf balls too, fucker. I ordered.
Hey, we're playing Sundays, so I can't wait.
Yeah, you'll get them then. So what did you wind up? You went what 5-0 that night?
Yeah, I went 5-0, and I won a total of $160.
Yeah.
So plus my money back.
What did you
So
put
that was
in?
pretty nice. I put in 40.
Okay.
So I bet the only bet that I did different is I did a 4-leg parlay, and I didn't include Mr. Johnny Walker.
Okay.
And then I did another separate parlay, but I added Johnny Walker in it because that one was the big if, with Johnny Walker coming back because he got hurt, right?
Yeah. Well, and he
Yeah.
had fought since he got
Oh,
hurt.
the worm. Yeah, that's right. He did the worm.
Yeah.
He did the worm and hurt himself. Ah, idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How did you bet though? I meant to ask you that. Like, what made you bet on those fights? Like, did you look into anything? Did you just wing it? Because I know you didn't ask me that much about it.
I did ask you, and you said, it's you didn't give me a good answer. You just like, there's a lot of things going on this
Yeah.
weekend. I don't really know. But as
Because
far
I suck
as
at betting, I told you.
I really looked at like Andrade playing Burns. I knew was going to be the match that I was really interested in was going to be Moreno and I don't know how to Deiveson. I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh,
That's just too hard.
Figueiredo.
Figueiredo, yeah. That was the main fight I was worried about is because Moreno won the last time. Can he win again? I know that's always the biggest thing when you're doing a rematch. Like Conor McGregor, he ate shit when he got his rematch. So I knew that one was going to be a big fight. I didn't bet on like submissions or knockouts. I just went for the straight win.
Yeah.
No, I just went for the straight win. But Moreno was the one that I really wanted. He was the reason why I wanted to fight because I like he's young. I like that he's eager to win. He wants to keep the belt. And I was like, let's go for it. I mean, all in, let's go. But, Walker, adding Walker in, with his 20-7, 19-7 at the time, I thought I had a good chance. So, but I didn't throw as much money as on the 5 parlay. But it won more money than because I had 5 fights instead of 4, so It wasn't too bad.
Fuck yeah, that's why I gave up on betting. I suck at it. Because then I put too much into it, and I'm not worried. I'm not paying attention to the fight. Like, so that's the thing about the Figueiredo and Moreno fight. Like, I thought Figgy was winning by 2 rounds, and apparently I was 100% wrong. Everyone else, no. Well, I did see a couple people say that they thought that it was at least 1-1 going into the 3rd round. And I was thinking Figueiredo was up by 2 rounds because it just seemed that way. Maybe I was distracted and not paying full attention, but that's why I suck at betting. I just, I know a lot about it, but that's the thing is that I'm constantly looking too deep at overanalyzing pretty much. So it's
I think Magic messes you up sometimes because he gets on tangents.
Yeah,
and I see that shit. I'm like, oh man.
He always gets on some tangent about something. All right, well, let's do, the normal. Let's get into the actual show portion of this, and let's look at because there's not a whole lot going on. There's one event I was going to talk about for a quick second at the end. We'll get to that a little bit later, but let's get into the usual recap of UFC 283. So, as you know, we had Teixeira versus Hill for the vacant light heavyweight title, and then we had Figueiredo versus Moreno in the 4th of the series of fights that they've had. So Moreno had the interim championship belt, and then Figueiredo had the actual championship belt. I don't remember what all of the details were in that, but he had the 2 title fights on this card. And then you had Burns versus Magny, Murphy versus Andrade, and then Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. So first off, we had Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker, which I thought this fight was going to go a lot differently than it did. I was looking at Paul Craig to win because Paul Craig he's just that no bullshit type of dude. And Johnny Walker always comes out doing some weird shit. So I'm always thinking that Paul Craig was going to win. And then instead we get Johnny Walker winning, acting a fool like always. But I don't know. Were you paying attention to that whole fight? It wasn't very long.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very long. Walker definitely seemed like he had a lot of energy. Craig was definitely his hits when he was punching him. It wasn't like many punches, but then the few that he was throwing, they were solid as hits.
Yeah.
And I don't think Walker was prepared for that. But then, Walker stayed with it. I think Walker threw a lot more punches in the round that connected, even though I don't think he was aiming. But I mean,
yeah, I mean, he set it up
what
nice.
matters most is connecting.
Yeah, he set it up nice. I mean, Craig caught that kick, and I was like, oh, here we go. Craig's going to take him down. And instead, fucking Walker hit him with that straight right. Ooh, look at that. Right on the chin,
Yeah.
and that wobbled him. So obviously he's going down. And then Johnny Walker did this crazy fucking hammer fist from hell. So, I mean, the video, I mean, obviously I always use like GIFs and stuff, so I don't get flagged and shit, but it looks a little faster here than it actually was, but not by much, because that was legit how it went. Like, I mean, he was beating the shit out of him.
I know. And Craig's an idiot. Rule 1, let go of the leg. Like, just let go of the leg.
So I think, I mean, he had the right plan to catch that kick, but he wasn't expecting that straight right to come across as flush as it did on his chin.
Yeah.
So as soon as he got rocked, I don't think he could let go of the leg. I think he was so rocked, he was thinking, let me hold his leg and hope to be held up by it. And instead, I think Walker kind of like baited him down to the ground and was like, fuck this. And finish that shit. So I was kind of sad about that. Just because I was going for Paul Craig, but apparently I heard something yesterday that was pretty funny. Is Paul Craig can beat the shit out of any Dagestani fighter, but when it comes to anybody else, he loses for some reason, which is weird because it's the opposite for everybody else. Everybody else, you could get like the world beater of world beaters, and then they go up against a Dagestani fighter and they get their ass whooped, and instead he's beating them and can't win against anybody else. So I don't know. Because I came out saying, I mean, if you watched, you probably heard me saying that I thought for sure Paul Craig was gonna win that fight in big fashion, and he didn't. So we were blessed with the stupid fucking worm.
I know.
I didn't think he was gonna do it, and he did it. I had to play this so I could make fun of him because the last time he did that shit, he got hurt like an idiot. So
yeah.
Yeah, so
I was hoping to get hurt again.
I guess he learned how to do it correctly, because last time he fucking like was standing up and kind of did a whole timber move and like threw his body all the way to the ground and tried to like start doing the worm as he fell, and I think that's what fucked him up. So this time he like got to his knees and did it. It was stupid. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. Anyway, moving on to Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. This fight,
man, I felt bad for this fight.
Yeah, because I mean, it went all 5 rounds and it was pretty one-sided. A lot of people are talking about how Murphy's corner should have threw in the towel, but I don't know. Andrade got the win after 5 rounds, and it was pretty decisive. Like there was no doubt about it, and she pretty much just beat the shit out of her throughout the entire fight.
I mean, with the hit percentage too, Andrade had 63% of her strikes connect, and total strikes thrown were 375.
Yeah, there was a lot of fucking strikes thrown in this fight.
Come on, 60%? Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, you're getting your ass whooped.
But I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Lauren Murphy got a couple hits in. You know, she started off okay. She got a couple things in there, here and there. But Lauren Murphy's just she's a tough motherfucker, man. She holds her own in there. And there were, all these people talking shit. She was like, it was funny because I'm like, man, I shouldn't say anything, because she's all, to all the podcasters and tweeters and streamers and journalists out there saying that my corner should have threw in the towel. Fuck all y'all. I was like, damn. But
you're not well known enough for that.
No,
so who
exactly.
Cares? She's not talking about you.
But she was just saying that pretty much it's like a double standard, because nobody was talking about that when it came to Glover, even though Glover got the shit kicked out of him too. But I think Glover was defending better. He was landing stuff more. It didn't seem so one-sided. Like he did get his ass whooped in the end, but it was a hell of a closer fight.
He didn't stop, and I know we're gonna get to that fight, so I don't want to ruin it for all. But I mean, honestly, he was fighting all 5 rounds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't give a shit.
And she was
This is
in
this is
there.
nothing the same.
She was
Not at
in
all.
there for all 5 rounds and she was holding up, but I mean, dude, the damage that she took was insane.
I
And
know. I know.
against
She
somebody
only had
who's
34%, 34% of her strikes hit. So I mean, she was trying, but it wasn't the same. It
yeah.
just wasn't.
And that's something I said in the beginning. She takes a lot of fucking damage when that fight started. That's what I was telling the guys. She takes a lot
Hmm.
of damage, and her face tells a story because she has a lot of scar tissue. And as soon as she gets hit flush a couple times, she's swelling up and she's getting cut open and bleeding. So, but she
Hmm.
hangs in there. I got to give her credit for that. But she's too tough for her own good. Uh,
Yeah,
she had nothing to. I mean, look at this fucking Andrade with that uppercut. It was nasty. And that's kind of what happened throughout the whole fight. And if you saw Lauren Murphy's face afterwards, she got
I know.
I
And
mean, she comes out of fights that she wins looking that way too. But dude, this time it told a whole story.
I'm not a big Andrade fan, but I mean, honestly, she did really well in this fight. Um, as far as it goes, I know she's had some tougher opponents and she's not been able to do as good. But I mean, this does show that she can stand 5 rounds. She can, or sorry, 3 rounds. She can stand 3 rounds, but she can actually throw some decent punches. And
Yeah.
they did take some damage. But I mean, one way or another, as you're a fighter, you got to be able to finish the fight. If that's
Yeah.
something you're looking for, you gotta learn to pull the kill button and just say, all right, it's on.
And I think she tried, but Lauren Murphy's that type of girl. She's that type of fighter that can take a lot of damage and stay standing, whether it's good for
Yeah.
her or not. So I think Andrade just didn't know what to do with that. She's like, I'm fucking landing left and right and kicking the shit out of her, and she's just not going anywhere. But that's
Yeah,
just a
I think
testament
she may
to
have to change her game plan a little bit going into her next fight. I think she may have to either learn a new move or go to wrestling and just try to submit.
well, yeah, and that's the thing though. Lauren Murphy has really good wrestling and grappling skills too.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think that's
mean,
why it stayed so much on the ground.
yeah, Andrade just, I mean, she has good jujitsu, but I don't know that she has the talent to get her to the ground and keep her there long enough to put a submission on her. And that's why she just beat her on the feet with those heavy hands that she has. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that was a brutal fucking fight. And a lot of
it
people, like I
was.
said, were talking shit about how her corner should have stopped it and whatever. I'm like, I guess it is what it is. She handled it. She's fine. Um,
I
sometimes
think
you're
the
too
biggest too
tough.
is you're a fighter and you really want to fight and your corner throws in a towel without you like knowing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I can you imagine how mad she would have been?
that's the thing is a lot of
It's like disrespect.
yeah, a lot of people don't get the fact that maybe the fighter was like, I know I take a lot of damage, I know I take a lot of hits, but don't you dare throw that fucking towel in unless I tell you to. So, a lot of people don't get the fact that they probably have those conversations and the corner's like,
Mhm.
unless I think she's about to die, I can't throw it in because she told me not to. So what
Right,
are you supposed to
exactly.
do? I mean, if she's doing that bad, the ref should have stepped in. So I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
it's one of
And
those controversial things. I don't know. But yeah, we'll move on. Next fight was Burns versus Magny. So I mean, this whole main card, like all what was it, 5 fights? I think all
mhm.
5 fights were fucking great. Like I was not bored during these fights, pretty much.
Yeah,
Gilbert
there's definitely
Burns,
a lot to look at.
yeah, Burns versus Magny. I mean, that went way the different way than I thought. But I knew Burns had it in him. He got the win. Um, it didn't take very long for him to get that win either, which I was like, damn. Like I said, I lost my parlay right away because my first bet was on Magny,
I
and that
know.
shit went down the drain.
I felt
So
bad for you too because you threw in $20. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I knew what I was getting myself into, and that's pretty much why I don't like betting because I like if I lose that quick, I'd rather have the fun of an anticipation of waiting till that last fight and then wind up losing then than,
mhm.
you know, like losing it right away. But I know that's always a chance I take. So it is what it is. I did it for the show. Who gives a fuck, I guess. But it was sad to see Magny lose because, I thought he had a better chance. He's been on a pretty good run and his last fight was really, it was pretty impressive. So I thought for sure he was going to give Burns a run for his money, but Gilbert Burns is just a badass, and there's not a whole lot you can do with him right now. He always gets to the top, and then he just doesn't seem to pull through when he needs to. But I mean, there's no doubt that he's the upper echelon of fighters, and he's definitely always in contention to either be right behind for the belt or be there to fight for the belt.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see who he fights next. I don't know if they have his next fight set up, but we'll
Not
see.
yet.
I like Burns as a fighter, but as a champion, I don't know if he can hang as much as everyone thinks he can.
Yeah, I mean the crazy shit that he threw Magny around like this. Like that was what was crazy to me. He landed that punch, went straight in for that takedown, and with with hardly any effort, just threw Magny to the ground. And Magny's got those long limbs, so you got to be careful when you're taking him down like that because he could throw you in a quick submission. But I don't think Magny knew what was coming.
Well, if you see too, the way that he has his knee behind Magny's leg, his left leg, that is a huge advantage when you're taking someone down because you're already putting them at the disadvantage. You're taking their legs away from them. You're going from behind the knee. That makes a big difference right there.
Yeah, you're kind of hoisting them on your leg and kind of taking them. It's almost like a trip with your knee, kind of. Because you're making their momentum go backwards as you're taking their legs out from under them. So, yeah, I mean, Burns did everything right, man. He came out like a fucking banshee and did work. I was just thinking that there is no fight set up for him yet, but he did call out Kobe Covington, who is a pretty high.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, pretty well decorated wrestler, All-American and whatever. But yeah,
I like him too as a fighter, but honestly, I think his time is done. I really don't think he can withstand the intensity of the UFC much longer. So I'll be surprised if he gets more than 2 more fights in him before he retires and hangs it up.
Well, he's been out for a while because of the Masvidal fucking sucker punching him in the street. And apparently, from what I keep hearing, I've heard like multiple stories on different podcasts from different people saying that, well, close sources to him are saying that he kind of got fucked up by that punch. And I'm like, you get the shit kicked out of you in the cage for a living. Like, you get sucker punched once and you're gonna claim that you pretty much have like a brain injury. Like, relax, bro.
Yeah.
But I know they like busted his tooth out or something, but they're trying to say that he's got like some kind of long-standing like damage or something. I think he's playing it up because he's trying to like press charges and sue Masvidal. So I think it's for the court case.
I'm sure there's some political bullshit he's trying to pull on it. I mean, Masvidal punked him in the restaurant, and that's ultimately how it got started. And I can't be mad at Masvidal for having that hatred between each other. But I mean, it's fucked up. But at the same time, you're like, that's kind of the gig you signed up for.
Yeah. Well, and people talk shit because they're supposed to do it in the cage, and exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Tyson,
all.
Talk shit, get hit.
That's all Colby does is talk shit, and they say it's a whole character and an act, but it's like, bro, if you're gonna be out there talking all that shit, you better be ready to get your fucking teeth knocked out, because that's what the fuck happened in the streets. And Masvidal's the street king, so he used to be a backyard brawler with Kimbo Slice and shit, so he ain't gonna take that shit. But anyway,
exactly.
Let's see. Let's go to Burns with this. With the sub. After that takedown, he pretty much worked his way into getting this anaconda choke and fucking tapping Magny right away. And I saw him get this in, and I was like, no way. And as soon as I saw Magny's hand go up, I'm like, it's over. Like, fuck, man, your kid's crying. The hell's wrong with him?
I know. I feel bad.
He sounds mad.
I know. Some piss in his Cheerios. God damn it.
That's funny. Yeah. So anyway, my parlay was busted right away with this fucking nonsense. Moving on though, Figueiredo versus Moreno, and I'm going over all these because, like I said, they were all good. We don't have any UFCs coming up this week. They're taking the week off. It's kind of weird because they just had a month off. Then they have a fight night and a pay-per-view, and then they take another week off, which is kind of crazy to me. It usually doesn't happen that way, but so as you can see,
I like fight night too. I
Yeah.
mean, I think sometimes we get better fights on fight night than we do the actual pay-per-view.
Right. Um. So Moreno got the win here. He got the undisputed belt, and they had some respect and stuff like that. They because they had a little bit of beef before because Figueiredo said some shit about Moreno pretty much being racist because he called him like a he I don't know, he posted a picture of a cartoon monkey or something and was making fun of Figueiredo, and he said that it was racist and I don't know. So there's been like this whole beef and stuff. But Moreno's like the nicest dude ever from what it looks like and everything I've heard of him. So anyway, they had the mutual respect at the end. But
Mhm.
like the way this ended, it was a doctor stoppage because of this fucking eye. Look at that shit. It was a nasty cut
Oh
under the
man.
eye, and then his eye just swelled shut. So when you saw the doctor checking on him, he's trying to hold up fingers and asking him how many fingers or whatever, and he's holding it up to the eye that's closed, and you could tell, like, I mean, if he would have guessed it correctly, it would have been a miracle because there's no way in
That
hell he could see that.
that was a hell of a hit. I don't know if you have the gift for that
Oh, I
hit, but
definitely do. It's coming.
oh my gosh. That hit was just, you felt it in your body. And he was like, oh, hey, I got hit in the eye. Like something happened. Like, hey, stop the fight. Hold on, wait, what happened? Give
Yep.
me my second. Oh,
Yeah, look
he
at that.
knew it as soon as he got hit.
He
Oh,
holds his eye and he's like calling for time, like almost like timeout. But he thought he got poked in the eye, but he definitely didn't. That was a straight punch. It wasn't the most technical, perfect punch, but it landed and it was a fist. There was no
yeah.
fingers poking out or none of that shit. And I
No.
actually got the slow mo here because that's the punch right there. So he kind of
Oh,
hit from the side. So
yeah,
I
it was like
think
a hammer
that's
fist.
yeah. And if you notice afterwards, he pushes him away. So like he almost fucking poked him in the eye that time. So I kind of
Yeah.
thought they were gonna say that, if he didn't grab the other eye, he could have probably gotten away with getting a timeout. But no matter what, his eye would have been swollen shut because that's all that
Yeah.
happened. He swelled his eye shut with that punch right there.
The
So
way I think of it when he got hit, like if you're drunk or you're high and someone hits you, you're like, whoa, 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 hey, who's hit me?
like
Where'd that
Chris
come from?
Tucker in Rush Hour, which one of y'all
Yes,
motherfuckers hit
literally. Oh my god, he was just like, whoa, wait a minute, wait, did you punch me, ref?
me?
Oh
Yeah,
man, for
dude.
sure. I was just like, I couldn't believe that.
It was crazy, man. Like I didn't expect that at all. But Figueiredo he's been struggling to get down to 125. Like 125, that's fucking like one
Mhm.
of my legs. It's fucking Jesus Christ. These dudes are tiny as shit. So he's been struggling to get down to weight. He looked like death when he was going out to get weighed in. So he wound up taking off his gloves, and people thought he was going to retire because that's what they usually do. But that was pretty
Yeah.
much him signifying his last fight in 125. He's moving up to 135. So,
Yeah, and I can attest to that too, honestly, because
weight
when I
cutting.
wrestled, yeah, when I
Yeah.
wrestled in high school for all 3 years, I wrestled 171 pounds. I was always 190. I cut 20 pounds before wrestling season,
Damn.
just to weigh in. I had to weigh in at a certain weight because when they check your body fat, you have to be able to have that weight to be able to cut. If you don't have that weight, if you're not within that weight to cut, not a chance. They won't let you.
Yeah.
So I always had to cut before that initial weigh-in.
Ugh.
Sometimes, it's an old wrestling school secret. I might get flagged for snitching on everybody for
Nah, I'm
this,
sure
but
people know already.
when we weighed in as wrestlers, there'd be times because the scale didn't print it out, we'd weigh ourselves as girls, so that way we could cut weight and it'd be considered healthy, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things back then. But then when I wrestled senior year, I cut to 171s to wrestle just so I could wrestle in a tournament at 171. I had to make my first meet. I had to weigh in at 171, and I was dying. I couldn't eat anything all day. I was sweating my
Spitting
entire
in a
body,
cup and shit.
spitting in a cup,
Yep.
using quench gum, believe
Ugh.
it or not. and just constantly just spitting in a bottle, trying to lose it, and running constantly, running, wrestling, whatever I can do to wrestle 171. And then I was like, fuck this. My coach said, fuck this. He goes, you look like shit. Even though you won your matches, you look like shit. And I went that tournament. It was on a Thursday. We went to the tournament on Friday, and I pinned state champion who used to wrestle at a heavyweight, but he was always 189 pounds, big linebacker from Mountain View. And I pinned him for the championship of that tournament. I will never forget it. And my buddy Trace, I'll never forget it. I flexed at the gym and I was like, yeah, so let's go at his own hometown, in his gym. I beat him and I pinned him. It felt great, but I had literally, if I tried to cut to 171s, oh my gosh, it would have been a mess. I would have not had the strength. I was definitely a lot stronger and naturally at 183 what I wrestled at the entire time. So I understand his pressure. When you're cutting weight, you're miserable. You can't eat normally. You're like trying to just put something in your stomach to digest, and it's terrible. It's not a good regimen.
That's all I've ever heard too is, wrestlers go through the most shit trying to cut week after week to try to, weigh in for their matches and shit. And I'm like, ugh. I mean, I would have loved to have wrestled and had that kind of experience under my belt, but weight cutting, that's some bullshit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hey,
no
what's
joke.
up, Lance? Lance is a guy that has been in the chat for some of our Rumble podcasts. We haven't really heard from him in a while, so what's going on,
Oh,
chat?
nice. How you doing, Lance?
Lance, yeah, good to have you here, man. He said he was going to check it out at some point, so looks like he's just now getting to it, but appreciate the viewership. Yeah, but to cutting weight's no joke. So Figueiredo's going to 135. I think you said 145, so that kind of surprised me when you said that in the chat, but I was like, I wonder if he heard wrong. And then I looked into it afterwards. It is 135 because they're fighting at 125. It wouldn't have surprised me if he went to 145, but he is only going to 135. Maybe he changed his mind. I don't know. It's still going to be a cut for him because he is a little bigger. But, all these guys cut no matter what, at least 10 pounds to get down. So
yeah, and that's how it is with any weight class. Usually when you're wrestling in high school, it's usually like a 10-pound difference. Sometimes it's a 5-pound, 140s, 145s.
yeah.
But, when I was wrestling at 189s, it was a 30-pound difference because the next weight class up was 215.
Damn.
And then heavyweight was 285. So 215 to 85. I mean, those boys are eating healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Healthy.
They're not missing those meals.
No, heck no. They full subs, right after weigh-ins, like, oh, you guys are hungry?
Yeah. All right, well, let's go over this main event because it was a damn good main event for this fight card.
Oh, man.
Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill. Shit, I was pulling for Glover just because I would have loved to have seen him like win the belt and then retire.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's up there in age, man, and he's taking a lot of damage. He won the belt in his 40s, but unfortunately in this fight, Jamahal Hill got the win. It was a hard-fought win, though, and it was well-deserved by Jamahal Hill, and as you can see, he's overcome with emotion because a lot of people doubted him and said he had no chance against Glover and said that he actually didn't even, like, kind of one of those things where he didn't even, what am I trying to say? He didn't deserve this title shot pretty much. So there was a lot of hate going his way and stuff like
right,
that. Yeah. But
he even got booed. He got booed for a little bit after that fight.
That's Brazil though.
I know.
So they're in Brazil. So of course, they're going for their hometown guys. But yeah, so Jamahal Hill got that win. But Glover was super respectful at the end, but Jamahal Hill was respectful right back. He knew that Glover was done. And he was so emotional. It was crazy. I was just like, wow, this is almost uncomfortable. He's so emotional. But I mean, I get it. He just fought a 5-round war with somebody like Glover. So,
and with Glover, he had a 33-8 record going into this fight. I think right there. I mean, you have to have all the respect in the world for these fighters. They've been doing it, majority of their life.
Oh yeah,
in prep, and the fight being in Brazil, most of the fighters being Brazilian going into this thing. I mean, talk about home field advantage.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
especially there when they chant "You're gonna die," while you're walking out, dude. It's
Yeah,
fucking brutal.
be that fighter, like, oh, like, just, and he went out to In the Air Tonight, and I'm just, you're gonna die,
Yep.
you're gonna die.
I mean, they
Oh,
say it in Portuguese, but everybody knows what it means now
yeah,
because it's like every time they've been in Brazil, that's what they do. But
I
I
know,
mean,
they're
Glover,
ruthless.
yeah, Glover gave a good fight. I mean, it's not like it wasn't a Lauren Murphy, Jessica Andrade type fight. Like this was an actual war. Glover was back and forth with Jamahal. He was landing punches. I mean, he busted up Jamal's eye, and I think in this round, in the second round,
Mhm. Yeah,
is when he got that little mouse under his eye, and that cut just kept opening and opening, and his eye kept swelling. Luckily, it didn't swell shut like Figueiredo's did. But
and you could tell Glover's an experienced fighter because he didn't give up no matter the total hit count for Glover was 196 thrown, 108 connected,
yeah,
50% shot, but
oh
those
yeah,
50 were the entire time, like all 5 rounds. And when he hit Hill, it was like, oh, the fight's about to change right now, and he
yep,
boom boom, ready to go. And that's the thing about their fighting style is they are constantly taught to continue on the fight and to finish.
yeah,
And that's what I respect the most about Brazilians is they know that they need to finish the fights. They're like, fuck the judges. The
right.
judges have been real shit too in the UFC lately. But honestly, he just kept throwing them, and that made a big difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at. I think this is round 5. Glover got mount on
Yeah.
Hill, which is pretty goddamn dangerous coming from somebody like Glover, who's a really good high level Brazilian jiu jitsu guy. And for Hill to, this is just kind of a testament to the way the fight went because Hill fully mounted and he slides out from under him, reverses him, and gets on top into half guard. Like nobody really does that to Glover that easily. So Jamahal Hill had some skills, and he definitely utilized all of them, and that's what made him come out on top.
You could see Hill too when you were watching the fight. If you guys got a chance to watch the fight this past weekend, Hill got scared for a while when he was getting rocked, and
Yeah,
then Glover had a severe advantage from round 4 into round 5. So definitely getting mounted. I think he kind of like had that fight or flight mode where he goes, if I don't do something right here, this could be it. And he kicked into gear and he said, you
yeah,
know what, I'm gonna get the fuck out.
and he did all the right shit because in order for him to wind up on top like that, dude, that takes some skill, especially when you got Glover full mounted on top of you, ready to rain down some punches. But
Mhm.
I mean, Hill just pieced him up pretty much. I mean, as you can see here, those stats on the screen. At this point, this was round 2, and he already had 49 to the head, 10 to the body, and 12 to the legs. And Hill was just it was punch after punch after punch. And then when he wasn't punching, he had those dangerous ass kicks. He kept landing them. He rocked Glover right there. This was in the second round as well. So it went all 5 rounds, and Glover was rocked in the second with that high kick. And I think he kept bringing his arm up and blocking, but Hill's like kicks were just passing through that guard, and he
Mhm.
was getting those kicks to land, and it was rocking Glover. So, and he kept those kicks up all the way through the rest of the fight. So I think that was part of why Glover was so busted up in the end. He just had everything landed on him.
I know, and even in the first round, second round, I know we were arguing through chat about the fights, but I told you, Hill looked pretty good, and you were like, nah, like what kind of fucking match are you watching here? Hill definitely did not take the fight as serious as the getting a couple punches in, Glover rocking him a little bit, and then making it an even interesting more fight for Hill, and he said, I better go to battle. I mean, this is a war. When you step in the octagon, I mean, I expect nothing less. It's a war. This
Yeah,
guy's literally trying to hurt you, knock you out. I mean, for me as a correction officer, if somebody knocks me out, I'm toast.
yeah,
I don't even want to imagine what the outcome would be. I mean, this is I want to say a legal professional fighting, it's someone's there to stop it. And my
yeah,
thing, in my circumstances, nobody's there to stop it. It's
right.
either you finish it or you better hope someone's coming to you know save your butt in a couple
Yeah,
seconds. So
for
I mean,
sure.
Hill here, he definitely kicked it into gear, and he said, I gotta fight. I definitely gotta not let my guard down, let this guy get, comfortable, because I know in fighters, when you get in a groove, yeah, you don't have a real what do I want to say here? You don't really have a real prediction about what could happen. You could get caught, and then the fight could be over in seconds because you slipped up and you let your guard down.
Yeah, you could be landing a bunch of punches, and then, like you said, you let your guard down, you let your hands get a little too low. Next thing you know, you're getting fucking rocked to the chin, and you're on the ground wondering what the fuck just happened. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. And throughout the fight, like I thought Hill was just a little too calm and kind of timid, like. And then, but
yeah,
then he started
exactly.
landing those head kicks, man. And like, even when there was like a
Oh man,
lull,
the head hits. Oh
yeah. Even
man,
when there was like a little bit of it, like like not a lot of action going on. Next thing you know, he would just start it off and land a kick through Glover's arm. It would just go right through, and Glover would be rocked, and then they'd go at it. It's just nuts.
and I love this thing too, because remember when we're at your house all the time, you have your surround sound, blasting, trying, so at least we can hear the fights when everyone's talking. But
Yeah.
man, you hear that, and you're
Yep.
like, oh, what happened? Wait a minute. Oh fuck, what I missed?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what sucks about the watch party, because I can't really. I mean, I could throw like an earbud in or something and listen to it, but I think I'd be too distracted. So that's why
Right.
I mean, I can't play the sound or anything like that while I got it going on the stream. But you know,
Yeah, plus everyone's talking all at once, and I know with
yeah,
magic and everything,
yeah,
it's hard to hear. I get it.
yeah. So I can't really pay attention to that, but I always go and watch them, the next day and stuff. So yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I always go back and watch some as much as I can. If not nothing else, like when it goes all 5 rounds, I'll watch that last round, or as much as I can, I go back and watch everything. And this card was tough to get through because all the fights were good. So I was like, fuck, I want to watch all of it. But I did go back and
Yeah.
watch that Moreno and Figueiredo fight because of the fact that, like I said, I thought Moreno was getting worked, and turns out I was wrong apparently. So I don't know what the fuck I was watching. But anyway, at the end of this fight, Hill got the win. He's the new light heavyweight champion, and Glover unfortunately retired, but we kind of all saw it coming. He's 43 years old. He got the belt when he was 42. He didn't get to defend. He lost to Yuri Prohaska, and then Prohaska got hurt, and there was another title fight where they came to a draw between Blachowicz and Ankalaev. So that's why this fight happened with Glover and Hill. So I think everyone pretty much knew that Glover was going to retire whether he won or lost. Um but yeah, I mean, unfortunately he lost. It was a great fight though, and a great battle, and at least he didn't go out getting knocked out, cuz that would have sucked. That's how Shogun went out this fight. He retired this fight as well, and Shogun got knocked the fuck out, and that was sad. And then the fucking asshole that knocked him out like did some stupid dance around him, and it was just
Oh
disrespectful.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a dick. Nobody even knows who he is, and yeah, he just beat a legend that was on his way out anyway. So it's like, calm the fuck down, bro. Like maybe don't
I
dance
know.
all over the dude's grave when that was his retirement fight. Show a little more respect. It was kind of fucked up. But at
I know.
least Glover got to go out by putting his gloves on the ground and no, saying coherently that he was done, and it was his choice. So
I know he retired at 43. Randy Couture retired at 47. That's what I was just looking up right now.
yeah,
And I'm like, this guy looks pretty good for 43. I mean, you could tell, like, fighting is not something that you just like age well with,
no, not
because
at
you're
all.
you're taking tons of punches. You got to heal. I mean, it's like a drug addict. You know what I mean? You just do
Yeah.
it too many times, and how old are you? You're
Well,
30? You're 30? Hold on.
you look like you're 40.
Yeah.
Well, Glover used to be like the main training partner of Chuck Liddell. That's how Glover came up. They were in the same
Oh,
camp.
see, I didn't know that. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
So the reason why he didn't come up for very long is for a long time is because he had visa problems. So he couldn't get into the US. So
Mm,
the UFC held off on giving him a contract for a long time because he had some visa issues and stuff like that. And then finally he got that sorted out, and then he got into the UFC and just rose up, but he just never got that belt until what, like a year
wow.
and a half ago. Um
Mhm.
so every time he'd get to that title fight, it just something fell apart. So I'm glad he got the title at least once. He was a champ. He can retire knowing he was a champ, regardless of whether or not he defended. And yeah, I just thank Glover for all the good fights and good memories because I watched this dude fight from the beginning. Knowing Chuck Liddell and Chuck Liddell being one of my one of my favorite fighters for a while. I knew all of his camp and stuff like that. And actually, Glover and Chuck Liddell's coach retired from coaching as well because he wanted to stop the fight after the 4th round. He was actually yelling and screaming for them to stop the fight. Like he wanted to throw the towel in, but the rest of the corner said, no, Glover's good. He wants to keep fighting. We think it's okay. And he got outnumbered. So he said, you know what? Apparently I'm getting too soft for this. I think that fighters should stop a fight sooner than they are. Glover got annihilated out there, and I felt like he didn't need to take any more damage, and I wanted to stop the fight. Nobody else did. I got outnumbered, and I think that just tells me that maybe I'm too soft for this anymore. I have too much skin in the game, and it affects me too much. So he retired from cornering as well. So he might still be a coach, but he's definitely not going to be cornering any fighters anymore.
And right here, this, believe it or not, this putting the gloves in the middle of the ring. When I retired from wrestling after my state championship, we used to throw our wrestling shoes in the middle of the ring. I think I still have a picture back when all the seniors had our last wrestling match at state, and we threw our wrestling shoes in the middle of the ring, and we said,
shit.
have a good day.
Yeah.
But also to Glover's extent too, as him being, what he was, 33-8 going into this fight. When I faced a state champion, I said I didn't get pinned. That's all that mattered. I didn't get pinned. To Glover's standpoint, he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get submitted.
Yep.
He kept fighting the entire time, and that's a testament of what kind of fighter he is. And in the entire fighting community, where it's jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, I mean, if you don't get knocked out or finished and you continue on and it goes to a decision, I mean, what can you do? That's the best thing you can have.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing better is to get the win and get the belt and then retire like that. And so, and that's a tough feat, especially when you're going against a dude that's over 10 years younger than you. So, but yeah, that's what Glover said. He said, I'm too tough for my own good. I could take a lot of damage and keep going. And it's just gonna make me, it's gonna make him worse in the future. So before he gets that far, he decided to retire. And I think it's a good idea. Like you said, he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get submitted. He had a 5-round war. He looked great. He had his moments, and he didn't look like an old, washed-up fighter that got knocked the fuck out like Shogun, unfortunately. So good on him, and I wish him the best in everything else he does. And I mean, thanks for all the memories, Glover.
Yeah, definitely a legend going out
for
out
sure.
to bang.
Cheers to Glover and Shogun.
2 for Shogun.
Yep. All right, so last thing on the agenda here, the only event really, there is a 1FC or a 1 championship event, but dude, those names are tough. It's in Limpur or something like that. So all those fools I don't even know. I can't say half of their names. I'm not gonna try. And it's one of the offshoot events of 1 championship, so I'm not even gonna bother. But there is a BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship fight going on the 27th. So that's Saturday, right? No, that's tomorrow. Oh, yeah. They do it on Fridays. Yeah, so that's tomorrow. There is one notable fighter on here. Andy Wen. She's fought in MMA. She's been a Muay Thai fighter. She's got a pretty good Instagram if you want to check it out. But she's good friends with Andrea Lee, I think Andrea Lee. Yeah, she's a UFC fighter at the moment. But anyway, she's a pretty well-known person, a fighter in the fight game in general, and now she's doing BKFC. So there's a lot of people going to bare knuckle fighting. I don't know a ton about it. I don't really watch it that much. I'm not sure.
That's 12 fights I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
And I don't know shit for anybody else on this card except for her. Usually there's a few that used to be MMA fighters. Usually there's a couple guys in there that have either been a boxer or an MMA fighter. And dude, this card, I don't know. Either way though, you can watch it. It's happening in Myrtle Beach, BKFC 35 tomorrow night, Friday, January 27th. You can watch it on their app. Anything past that, I can't tell you. But I wanted to bring it up because I do cover BKFC every now and again. I cover all combat sports. It's just
When
UFC. What's up?
when's the slap? When's the slap shit start
Dude,
for UFC?
that is what I was gonna talk. Actually, that's what I was gonna talk to you about. You know what? Let's end this. Let's end this part. So yeah, okay. So slap fighting happens on Wednesday nights. It's on TBS. I don't watch that shit.
Oh, has it started yet?
It started already. It's
fuck.
week. Second week was this week. If you're on TikTok, it's all over TikTok. But here's the thing. I don't fucking watch that shit. I don't like it. I think it's fucking stupid.
It is stupid there, but I saw on TikTok there was two champions or two guys going at it for a championship, and this guy's face literally was like a stroke happened to him. Yeah, I was just like,
huge.
Oh my god, swollen. Yeah. Oh,
so that wasn't Dana White's Power Slap League. That was some international shit. But yeah, that was fucked up. And you know what? I have seen all kinds of articles using that dude's face as what am I trying to say?
Like kind of like advertisement for them to watch their show.
No. They're using it as like God damn it, I can't think of the word. Anyway, it's basically their reason for why this shouldn't be happening. Because if you because if you can withstand getting hit that many times, TikTok sucks donkey balls. Lance. Hey, listen, Lance, I was with you, bro, forever. And the only reason why I'm on it is because I do this show and there's potential on TikTok to, gain a lot of followers and viewers, and it's a good place to promote shit. It's the only reason why I'm on it, except the thirst traps. They're okay. Yeah, no doubt, bro. I'm with you, man. I'm only on it because I refused. Ask Clark. I refused to get on TikTok forever. I'm only on it under my Going Rounds podcast name. I don't even have my own personal one because I don't care that much. TikTok's annoying to me. I understand why people get caught up in the mix of shit, but yeah, so I use it to see what other like podcasts are doing. I use it to promote my own, and I use it just as an extra thing to get the word out there about my podcast because I'm trying to grow it. So that's the only reason why I use it. So I'm with you, Lance. I know it does suck. It really does. I hate it. But I'm mostly on Instagram and Facebook the most. And I know people talk shit about Facebook being an old person thing or whatever, but no joke, for MMA news, like, dude, you get the most from Facebook. And then Instagram is right behind. And personally, I mean, I'm on Instagram the most personally. Like, that's where I see, that's where I go if I'm going to social media for anything. And then Facebook's my secondary. Twitter used to be my first main thing, but I don't even go to Twitter that much anymore. I forgot to tweet out too. I have a button here ready to automatically tweet when we go live, and I forgot. That's how much I'm on Twitter. So anyway, So that the slap fight shit, I mean, it's entertaining, I guess, for people to watch, and for me too, like I watched it here and there before the Power Slap League shit came across, but dude, it's failing. It's fucking failing already. Like they only had like 300,000 viewers, which is a lot to me when I don't have that many viewers, right? But when you think about the fact that it's on network television, it's being promoted under the UFC banner. It's got one of the biggest fucking names in all of combat sports as Dana White, having his name connected to that shit and being promoted by the UFC. You would think it would have a lot, but...
And I've watched The Ultimate Fighter, and I know he's trying to do like some kind of type of Ultimate Fighter with his slap bet, but it's not the same. It really isn't.
Right. And that's what they're doing. And here's the thing. They're paying people $2,000. Okay, that sounds like a lot to some people, but not when you're getting your fucking brains slapped around. Okay, $2,000 to show and $2,000 to win. Like, what the fuck? Okay, you can't defend yourself. You can't even defend yourself. So you can't put your hand up and like try to block a shot. So you're standing there purposely getting slapped in the fucking face as hard as possible by some big fucking huge monkey looking motherfucker that, it does nothing but train for this.
I saw one of the girls fight, and she was holding a towel behind her back, like,
They all
you know what I
do.
mean? Because
Yeah.
can't
And
do
then did
that.
you
No
see the
way.
girl with the mohawk? Okay, I kept seeing this
Yeah, I
everywhere.
saw that
So
one. Yeah.
yeah, she got slapped so fucking hard. She got stumbled back. She stood up and then she fell forward and did a somersault because she was so fucking rocked. And I'm like, they're like, oh, you got 20 minutes to recover. She falls and shit and everything. She's stumbling like a drunk idiot. And then she gets back up there and goes, okay, slap me again, bitch. It's like, what? What the fuck are you doing? It's so stupid.
Hell no, hell no. I'd rather get punched 100 times than go through someone just open willingly slapping you in the face without being able to defend it or
Yeah.
like move. Like, okay, I'm standing there. How hard is it? I think honestly, how hard is it for someone to slap you and you're looking at them like, all right, you're gonna slap me right now. Don't move.
Yeah, how
Fuck
do you not
that.
flinch? Yeah, I don't understand how they don't flinch, but I don't know. It's fucking
No,
weird.
fuck that shit.
Yeah, so
Whatever they want to do for money and fame. I think that's what it is.
that's
Money
the
and fame.
problem though. It's not even that much money. Like it's not even that much money.
No,
And
you're right.
there's already big time like doctors and people that study brain shit saying that, you know, it's one thing to fight and take a lot of damage that way, but um at least you can defend yourself. There's a way to defend yourself. You know, if you're on the ground getting the shit kicked out of you and you're not defending yourself in MMA, they stop the fight because you're not
Right, exactly.
intelligently defending yourself. So when you can't defend yourself unintelligently or intelligently, then what the fuck are we doing here?
I know, and I think about like football. You know, they go helmet to helmet, or they go to battle,
Yeah,
or it's sometimes there's a missed tackle, and yet the helmets sometimes collide, and it's not even intentional. But man, they pull the guys out, they put them in the blue tent. They said, "All right, we got to go through a concussion protocol just to be safe." But then
yeah.
you got someone who's just literally getting shots to the dome for $2,000, like. You
Doing
can't make
nothing to
this shit
stop
up.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
stupid. Lance said
Oh my
only thing that
gosh.
could have made it better is if one of them started crying. Yeah, no shit. And it does get harder by the second. Imagine how bad your face feels after getting slapped like 4 times in a row or
Dude,
getting rocked.
to wake up, like I had bronchitis when I was 25, and I had to get my tonsils taken out, but my entire face went numb, and I
Ugh.
like sounded like I was underwater. I'm like, I can even imagine that times 10. Like,
Yeah.
what do you expect? Oh my gosh. You thought
Fuck.
you had a face now. You thought you were cute.
You
wait till
got
you're
a
done.
permanent handprint on your fucking face. Yeah, no,
Oh man.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because that was one. I think that was what I was thinking about earlier. Was I was going to ask you if you had seen any of it, or if you know if you cared, because I don't know too many people that even give a shit. Because it's like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's dumb.
It seems interesting, but overall, I give it a thumbs down.
Yeah,
Like it's not worth it.
I'm
It
with you.
might get like a couple seconds of fame and glory or a good
It's
laugh, depending on they fall, but
Yeah,
nothing else.
that's what someone else said. It's only good for a clip. It's a clip.
Yeah,
You can't watch a fucking show. Like these dumbasses are like they did a fucking almost like the Ultimate Fighter house. Like they had these
yeah,
fools
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, and these guys are over there like in each other's face talking about they're gonna kick the
With
shit out.
clipboards, Here,
Yeah.
let me. Oh yeah, he slaps really good.
But I'm like, okay, so you guys are gonna try to fight each other in the house when what you really
Uh,
do for fucking money is slap each other. I'm like, you guys are comical. Like, what the fuck? It's like I'd rather watch the fight in the house, the street fight that happens in the house, than watch them slap the shit out of each other on TV for fucking. Like,
I'll
come on.
never forget. Maybe you can recall this too. I'll never forget this. It was the funniest thing ever. It was at a UFC house, during their fight or whatever. They were getting ready for a fight, and this one guy was like, "Go ahead, punch me. You're not gonna knock me out.
Yep.
Punch me. Go ahead. You're not gonna knock me out. I can
And
take
that
it."
fool knocked it
And
the
then
fuck out.
straight knocked the fuck out, and he's snoring. He's snoring in the corner of the bed with his chin's all hooked up.
He knocked him out into the closet. And that fool was passed out. Yeah, that shit was fucking funny.
Oh, like you're an idiot. Yo, slap me. You ain't gonna knock me out. Slap me.
Yeah, dude. Yes,
Stupid.
Lance. People pay money to watch this shit. By the way, yeah. No doubt.
I know.
Like,
have you seen the one of the midgets where the midgets are slapping each other and it's like a little squeaker toy?
Oh shit!
It's like the same shit. Like,
Dude,
what are you doing?
It's fucking comical. Like, I don't know. Like, I can only laugh at it. That's like all I can do. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Dana White is just losing his shit. He's getting bored. You know, he's like one of those dudes that has too many money and goes, "Let's hunt people for money. Let's do it for fun. Who cares?
Try to get views.
Let people die. It'll be interesting and entertaining." I'm like, come on, man. Like, these are the fools that are gonna start the Hunger Games, like, for real. It's gonna be like Squid Games. These motherfuckers are gonna be watching shit because they got too much money and don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, my dick's not even interesting anymore. Let's fucking watch people like poke each other's eyes out on purpose. What the fuck, dude?
Here, let's see who can swallow this banana. Go ahead.
Yeah.
5 people. Go ahead.
Let's see.
$100 right now.
Make yourself choke. We'll have somebody ready to do the Heimlich when you're about to pass out. Let's see how far you can go.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, dude. I don't know, man. Midgets slapping midgets. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah, go look that shit up.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it for sure.
Oh fuck. On that note, we've gone for like an hour and almost 45 minutes, man. That's good shit. That just means we had a good
this is
time.
a fucking blast. Oh,
yeah,
for sure. Man. I had a great time.
Yeah,
I wasn't even looking at the time. I was like, oh shit, it's only been an hour.
Yeah. Well, so far me and Tommy have done the longest one, but that's because we podcast all the time together, and so like we could probably keep going, but my fucking cheeks hurt from laughing. And we covered. I know. We covered everything.
When you get into podcasting and you got friends just bullshitting, like you know each other, like absolutely, there's nothing better.
That's what's crazy about my other podcast, you know, with the guys from the Rumble. Like, I knew Tommy before because I met him. He actually used to have it only took 30 seconds. Yup. That's all you need, Lance. 30 seconds of midget slapping and you're fucking good for like a year. I knew Tommy from before because he's like my brother-in-law, that's his brother. So he came down to Tucson. Yeah, he used to have a bike and we rode together for a day. We just went out on a crazy ride real quick on our bikes. But yeah, so like I knew him a little bit, but that was the only time I ever really like met him. We never really hung out that much or anything like that. Damn, I got the hiccups. So I'm fucking drinking too much. But yeah, like Magix, I played Call of Duty with Magix and my brother-in-law back in the day. So that's the only way I knew him. And Mike D, I never knew him until I met him through this shit. And they just started podcasting last year at the beginning of the year. So like they were like a month or two ahead of me pretty much. And then I jumped in with them and started, and now I'm here doing my own. So it's kind of crazy.
I know, and you're doing like what, 3 or 4 podcasts a week now?
Yeah, like we do it like 3 times a week with them, and then I do this one. So I'm pretty much podcasting 4 times a week. Kind of crazy. We're just trying to grow shit, you know. Something's gonna catch on.
For sure. I'm just trying to get you off to the golf course so we can practice.
I know you're over here trying to get me to go practice more, and I'm too busy podcasting. Lance said, "Send me Clark's YouTube." Well, he's not on. Look, they think you're a fucking streamer or something now.
Oh man, I wish.
You got the look. No, Clark just plays. What do you play, Clark? Anyway, I don't even know.
I used to play Call of Duty. I like to play a lot of Warzone. It was fun, but I mean, definitely when it comes to hackers and bullshit lags, you know, depending on what happens, I just gave up. I thought about it too. You remember Barcelo? Yeah. I called Barcelo the other day. I said, "Hey, have you played the new Warzone?" He goes, "Yeah, I played like 3 games," and I turned it off. And I was like, "Oh fuck!" I already know that. Fuck that shit.
Where's that fool been? I haven't seen him in forever.
He's been doing gas. He works for Southwest Gas now, so he likes that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
He gets his beard. I don't get my beard, so he you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he can have a better beard than me, then fuck it, he's gonna take it.
Yeah, no shit. All right, man. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. This has been fun as fuck, dude. I'm glad you got on here.
Oh yeah. Anytime you want me back, just let me know. And I mean, I'm definitely, when you guys do your watch parties, let me know. I'm down to join in with the boys and rough some shit up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure they'll see now why we're friends. And why you're always talking shit in the chat, I'm like, you don't know until you see him in person or at least see him on video.
I know for sure. We talk shit more than anybody. I think in our friends group, me and you will always go back and forth.
Definitely.
No matter what.
That's how we started. That's how we became friends, was talking shit. So
I
was
know,
always
for
being
sure.
a dick to you.
I know. And you were a coach. He was like, all right, you're yelling. And then now I'm a coach. You're like, hey, shut the fuck up. Just
yeah.
We're trying to get each other out of fights.
I always had to tell you to shut the fuck up. It was like, that was a constant. Everyone's like, well, there's the one time Eric's gonna tell him to shut the fuck up tonight. At least once a night.
I know, for sure.
All right,
brother. Well, I appreciate you having me on the show. Honestly, if you ever want me back, I'm more than happy to be part of the family.
You'll be back. I like that. That's what I'm saying. This is what's cool is, anybody that wants to come on that I'm friends with and stuff, like, shit, I'm happy to have you guys on, and it's cool that I get to I have this and I get to do it. And I may not have a bunch of listeners now, but hopefully soon I'll have more people watching. I'm just gonna keep trying to grow it. I never did this for money or fame. I've always done this just because I like doing it, and I'm still just starting out. I may have a nice mic and a good background, but I got to get all the viewers and shit. So sooner or later,
it's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Right? Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Lance, thanks for joining in, man. I appreciate it. Pops, if you're still watching, thank you again for all the support.
Salute.
Pops is always supporting me and everything. So, I got to give the love to my pops. And
I know. I talked to Pops Sunday. I talked to Pops the other day. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just watch it.
That's funny.
I love Pops.
Yeah.
Your dad's the best.
He's cool, man. He just hangs out and doesn't give a shit. So that's what's awesome.
For sure.
That's why we all go. Right. Yeah, it's fun going to play golf too, and we'll be doing that this Sunday. So thank you everybody for tuning in.
8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
all right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers.
You have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.
You
Stay
too.
safe. Thank you, everybody.
You guys, for watching, and catch me again next week. Oh, there's no Rumble podcast going on next week, but we are going to be live Sunday at 8 p.m. on the Rumble Podcast YouTube channel. So join us there. Check it out. See what's going on. And then we're going to take a little break from the week. We'll be back the Sunday after. So make sure that you check me out again next Thursday right here on the Going Rounds Podcast YouTube channel. And thanks again, Clark. I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely,
and we'll
brother.
see you guys next time. Peace.